Game day has just gotten done, but we're going to talk about some of the other exciting news from game day, a commitment for 2025. Let's talk about who that is, react to the news, and what it means for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. War Eagle Auburn family, War Eagle E2C Network family, thank you so much for joining us. Whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay, we appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, spending some time being part of our little family within the Auburn family. As I addressed at the start of the live stream, we are here to discuss a commitment that happened on game day. Yes, and it's not the one that you're thinking of. I will address that as well in just a second. But we are talking about 2025 commit Spencer Dowland, who committed yesterday during UMass game day weekend. Our reactions, our comments, your reactions in the comments, most importantly here on this stream. We're going to get into that right now. First things that I would like to remind you of, if you can, if it'd be a huge help, if you think we've earned it, smash that like button, whether you're watching here, whether you're watching on YouTube, wherever else, whether you're watching on the replay or live. We appreciate you doing that and helping us continue to grow our little family within the Auburn family. And of course, right now in the comments, check in where you're watching from. Let us know that you're here with a War Eagle. And of course, throughout the stream, comments and questions about this particular topic we will be taking. Let me address from the onset here. Yes, I know that we are 30 minutes when I'm doing this stream from a potential commitment for 2024. So most of y'all's comments are going to be, what do you think about that? Or think we're not going to be really addressing that all that much. We're talking about this one while we have the moment and the focus centrally on this 2025 commit Spencer Dowland for right now. So we'll keep our focus there. Most of you guys know that when we get 2025 commits, we're going to be doing live stream reaction shows about them. I will eventually do the full big videos that y'all like that I do about all the commits, all the facts that you need to know. That will come out later on down the road. But for now, we want to just do the live stream reaction so we have an opportunity to talk about them. A couple of people already checking in. Yes, the mobile broadcast studio still in effect here. A little bit better setup and situation than last night in the dark. Obviously, you guys can see me a little bit better. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Still in Auburn, still lots to do. And stay tuned to the end of the show. I got an update for you for another live stream, special one coming up today. All right, let's get into this. Spencer Dowland, offensive lineman 2025. Let me go back to that middle part, offensive lineman. For a lot of you that have been very, very nervous about offensive line commits, offensive line recruiting for the last several years, you have a right to feel that way. But also, for those of you that still are a little bit nervous because of maybe you thought we'd have some more in the 2024 class, maybe that's coming. You will know that more than likely by the time most of you are seeing this stream anyway. The point is, it's not just about 2024. It's about even beyond that. You got to start building foundations now. So the foundation for the offensive line piece has begun here with Spencer Dowland committing to the Auburn Tigers. I'm just going to give you some general information about him. Tell me what sticks out to you, things that you thought about when you saw this news, if you caught this news during the middle of game day yesterday. Spencer Dowland comes from Athens, Alabama, and he plays for Athens High School. He's listed at about, it's like approximately 6'6", 290 pounds on some sites, and it seems that's pretty accurate across the majority of them. So a lot of people look at him and say, hey, he sounds like an interior offensive lineman. Currently, he plays offensive tackle for Athens, and I think he's been doing that for quite some time. And obviously, when you are a junior, you've still got a lot of room to grow and build into. That's a lot of the commentary that I've seen on him so far, is that maybe still room to grow, and that will determine exactly where he plays when he gets to Auburn. But for now, most people kind of think possible interior offensive lineman. When you're 6'6", though, you're getting up into those taller ranges. So a lot of the times you do find yourself in a tackle position. Brian says, good to hear, heading toward the right directions on the offensive line. And that's what I don't want to be missed in this conversation today. But given the context of we're live at this moment, 30 minutes away from a potential commitment for 2024, it's more than just focusing on the class currently that we're sitting and talking about, but the future classes too. So starting that piece earlier. Here's the other piece about this too. we talk a lot about in recruiting about taking care of your backyard. And obviously your backyard essentially would be Auburn, all those surrounding areas, Montgomery, up down a little bit lower into the south, extending into Georgia. But your extended backyard is your home state of Athens, Alabama. And Athens, Alabama is up there in the northwestern-ish corridor. And that's kind of Alabama country. So going up there, continuing to make waves up there is a good thing for this Auburn recruiting staff, a big win for Hugh Freeze on game day, no less. It'd be nice to start seeing a trend every single week. We get a commit for a class after a game day, maybe. But listen, I don't know how, if you're sitting on an Auburn commitment just waiting to make that final decision, you don't come to the game day yesterday and just be floored and be like, wow, if they're this excited for game one of the Hugh Freeze era, imagine how excited they're going to be when we get here and get stuff established on a more firm foundation. Spencer Dowland obviously bought into that, and it's a very exciting thing to see that happened on a game day too, given the context of what may or may not be happening coming up very soon here for a 2024 commit. All right, so 6'6", 290-ish pounds, Athens, Alabama, Athens High School, from Alabama. Those are the big important features there. I would also say, I haven't confirmed this officially, but if you look on some of his social media profiles and such, you'll find that he has wrestling in his background, it seems like. There is a good history with people having a good wrestling background, knowing how to move people and exploit weaknesses. And, a fun term would always be leverage. So this is something that's very good, even for a guy maybe that still has some growing to do, that he's going to bring that skill set to the table. It's oftentimes like we talk about with athletes in the football spectrum. So whether that's a defensive back, a running back, a wide receiver, you want to see them playing multiple sports because that's a good sign that they're more than just football athletic. You want to see your wide receivers playing track and field, or basketball or something like that, because that shows that they not only have speed, but they got jumping ability and things like that. John says that if the staff offered him, I trust that. Need to keep focusing on both lines. Very true. You win the game up front. We've talked about that a lot. So a lot of people, I think, too, on this commitment were a little bit, well, of course, the stars aren't where I want him to be. And if you look currently, the sites will have him listed somewhere in the 3-star ranking. I always tell you folks, do not put so much into these stars, because you will be always disappointed by that system, it seems like, for the most part. I would rather talk about how many stars they leave with than what they come in with. But for your informational purposes, as a junior, most who have him ranked have him in a 3-star position. But still very, very important. Let's talk about implications for the team as it stands right now and the class of 2025. Currently, as we talk about and sit on it right now, it's the third commitment for 2025. Those other two being Malik Autry, who committed back in the Harsin days. Some discussion there whether he may flip or something like that. Caleb Falk, who just committed a few weeks ago, brother of the other Falk that we have here. So got a nice family connection going on here at Auburn. 2 defensive guys. So now we are finally getting somebody on the offensive side of the ball. So talking about taking care of the lines, as John just said a little while ago with this comment, in 2025, you have already done that with Caleb Falk, Malik Autry if he stays, and now you're starting on the offensive line of the ball. A good, firm foundation built upon the rocks that are the offensive and defensive lines. What do you guys think about this guy? Any thoughts, comments, questions? Were you shocked, surprised by this one? Did anybody see this one coming? To me, I didn't have a lot of insight into this one happening as quickly as it did. So just my own interpretations about the situation and gathering the information before the show, it seems like this is one of those cases where a guy really bought into what he was seeing out there and how Auburn sells itself. The campus sells itself. The students sell itself. The game day atmosphere sells itself. It's a huge, huge factor in what Auburn can do to win recruiting battles in state like this one, but even further out. Brian says stars not necessarily needed, but game films of the recruits, coaches' eyes, and get chances on offers. Maybe I'm just reading that wrong. Yeah, I agree that stars are really kind of a best guess, and a lot of times they are in the ballpark of where they need to be, but a lot of times they're not. And that's kind of the ones that I like to latch on to. What I am happy about is that offensive line recruiting is obviously being made, line recruiting on both sides for the 2025 class. Now, listen, let's talk about the future, because in the videos that we do for the current class recruits, I talk a lot about what it means for the program. Now, if we look at this, a lot of people are like, well, yeah, it's for 2025, but we got needs for 2024. And of course, that's always true. Well, again, one of those may be addressed in a matter of minutes here, as we're doing this live. But the big thing for what you need to look at is who is here currently and what spots may or may not be available. Because right now, if you look at the roster breakdown of the depth charts, and I think, well, I'll just throw out some names. You got Dylan Wade, Jeremiah Wright, Avery Jones, Cam Stutz, Gunnar Britton. Of those, 3 of those are seniors. You've got a couple more seniors that are probably leaving, Jaleel Irvin, things like that. But there's a really good crop of guys that are juniors, redshirt juniors, that are still going to be here next year. And then what's behind that is a really good foundation and crop of offensive linemen that are younger, on the younger side, that have a little bit more eligibility. So that's a Connor Liu. You got, I forgot about Tate Johnson. I was talking about a juniors. He's still here. Braden Joyner, Clay Whedon, several others as well. So I think everybody panics in the 2024 class and kind of belittles this 2025 commit. What's the big deal? We need them now. But they're not really thinking through what is needed necessarily for next year. You're going to get some more for 2024, but 2025 is probably where you're going to really see a lot of offensive linemen. Yes, he was at the game. He came, if I read all this correctly, he was at the game. He came to Big Cat Weekend. So this is something that's been kind of building and becoming more of a thing for him as time went on. And I'm looking at the stadium right now. That's what sold him, I'm sure. All right, final thoughts, questions, comments, derogatory rebuttals about this. Drop them in now, and we'll kind of round out our show. But let me give you some important information about our next upcoming live stream, which is probably going to be in a matter of hours. On Sundays at 9 Eastern, we typically do the Auburn Experience podcast live record. Today, we are going to try to do it earlier. Not sure exactly what time yet, so you got to stand by on YouTube. But we are going to do it live and in person together. Austin and I together in the same room for the very first time for episode 50. Stand by. Don't miss it. It is going to be a lot of fun. Check out those links in the description here on YouTube. And obviously, if you want to help support us in any way, you can look at all those ways to shop, be a sponsor, follow us on social media. You can do all those things too if you're watching on Facebook and stuff like that. So thank you guys so much for checking in on those things. And as always, smash the like button. All right. Final commentary on a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about here. Kevlar says he looks like he could get a bit bigger before he comes into the Plains. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. A lot of people are saying, oh, he's undersized. Well, remember, he's a junior. So let's round out our conversation really quickly. Spencer Dowland, Athens, Alabama, Athens High School, currently sitting in the 3-star range, approximately 6'6", 290-ish pounds, with probably some room to grow. And that will also probably determine where he plays when he arrives at Auburn. Part of the 2025 class, third one currently in this class, and getting that line started for that class for the all-important group that Auburn fans are so focused on these days. Tune into that commitment. That'll be happening for 2024, hopefully for Auburn. If it does, obviously, we will talk about that in an edited video probably tomorrow. You guys continue to be the best little family within the Auburn family, and I appreciate you for tuning in on a short notice to this special live stream to talk about Spencer Dowland. So until I get to talk to you again, hopefully this afternoon, we see you at our special 50th episode show, War Eagle.